My God. Okay, we're back and we're staying back. Just gonna wait for it to actually come live on the Twitch. Still says offline. Hopefully, if people can let me know if we are actually live. Because the preview window has had enough of me at the moment. DRC guaranteed now at this point, to be honest. Looks like we're live. Doesn't show me on my preview screen. Twitch has had enough. So I know what the issue was. We fixed that issue. So we're staying back. We're not going to do anything fancy. It appears, to be honest, there has been some keys overwrite on my keyboard, but I know where to avoid now. Don't worry about it. It's something I can definitely avoid happening now that I know what it is. Major Keck. Yes, indeed. So, I'm not going to enjoy doing this for a VOD, am I? McLarens are flying through either way. We're going to go straight to them. You can see the timing board, and we'll just have to roll with it. So Forza is on a flying lap, has found 2 attempts. He's got to find a lot of time, though. He's got 1 second to find here, in fact. Jagu on a 28.9. He's on his outlap currently, warming up that Williams to go again. Forza's going a little bit early, throwing the gauntlet down. If you do make a mistake, it's fine. You can box and come straight back in. So we will see what he can do in this McLaren. Farrell's a respectable P4 last time out. Unfortunately, he did run out of fuel during the race. I think he's going to be happy for me to stop saying that, though. And we're going to see what he can do through signs. A long right-hander. Look at that McLaren fly through there. What time is he able to put down? How much grip does he have? Track evolution, of course, will be very strong. But the pressure, knowing, of course, that you can come in and box, maybe going early is the right idea and being able to come in. But he's kept it together so far in this McLaren. What can he do? What time can he set? Can he find himself further up? Can he even challenge for provisional pole? As we're seeing DRS now wide open on that McLaren to the timing line. And it's only good enough for P6. It's not done enough an improvement, but it's a respectful time so far for Forza. Jagu, our provisional pole sitter, has actually made a mistake. He's currently taking an extra outlap to try and warm up that car even further. Cars coming through, of course. I'm glancing back. Yeah, we're still live. I'm so paranoid about that now. Invalidation from Burge. Nearly did the thing that would have killed the stream, in fact, there and then. Stosan has found 2 attempts. He's on a flying lap, of course, through here. We'll see what he can do, what time he can set, if any. Scrub isn't on the lap as a Mercedes ahead of him in pockets. He's only on an out lap. So we're going to stay on board with Stosan in his Ferrari. Very good performances usually from him. A bit of desync now, unfortunately, as well. Bit of deja vu watching him come round through there twice, or he's just that fast blink and you'll miss him, or blink and you'll see him a second further back, I suppose. What time can Stosan set? It comes into upon the long, takes so long to get through that final corner. 15 corners through France, 15 chances to improve, and he can't. Stosan hasn't improved at all. We're going to go on board with Jagu, our provisional pole sitter. He is improving slightly, losing the rear end in that Williams. We'll see what time he can set. He's going to get a little bit of a tow from the Mercedes up ahead. Might be too far back to feel the benefits, but that Williams is charging, flying through. We're near the end of the session now. Drivers coming out. There's going to be a lot of traffic on track, but this is it now. Only 30 seconds left. Drivers have got to get themselves to the line, but they've got to get themselves out of the way as well for anyone on a flying lap, and this includes Jagu, right to the limits, very close to invalidating. What time can he set in this Williams? He's going to be flying through now, hoping that no one holds him up. They won't be, but he's going to get a very healthy tow for this Mercedes who's starting their lap. DRS wide open on the Williams. What time can Jagu put down? What gauntlet is he going to do? 5 for the chase. He improves by 1/10. He improves to 28.8. Jagu flying in that Williams. But what time can anyone else respond with? Jagu, I think, is one of the first to be coming through, and he invalidates. That's unfortunate in the Aston Martin. He won't be able to go again that time. That time is thrown away by Jagu. It's only not good enough for now for provisional P3. But drivers are still coming through. Farwise having to get out of the way. Sorry, Farwise is on a flying lap. AIM had to abandon it. Farwise is coming through. What time can he set? Can he improve? Got a feeling how many times he's been out on track. Those tyres are not new. Entire field is a Williams Hamilton, and there's a bit of a mistake, and Forza is out, finding the barrier. His very own Charles Leclerc moment. That is unfortunate to see. Burge coming through. Don't feel it's affected too much. What time can that Ferrari put down? Forza will only be able to set provisional P7. AIM as well. He had to abandon. The Ferrari pair are coming to the line. What time can they do when they break the beam? Wide open on that DRS wing. Burge to the line. Can he take provisional pole? It doesn't look like it. He is P3, did improve, but it wasn't enough. The other car, box AIM, of course, was too slow. There's a Red Bull, I think. Sevener does improve to P12. Penguin invalidated. Edge into the line. Sorry, Castleman, only P3. Get the feeling this is everyone's laps finishing. Matthias has finished as well. And that is your order. Matthias gets a 29.0, of course, but not enough. Jagu didn't even need to go again. Our pole sitter in the Williams, Jagu, who won last time out at Silverstone, is on pole around France, around Paul Ricard. Brilliant lap by him. Didn't need to go again, but wise to do so, you'd definitely say. Especially with track evolution. If I had a nickel for every time a McLaren driver did a Leclerc, I'd have 2 nickels. It's not a lot, but it's funny that it's happened twice. Well, you're 2 nickels richer, so you cannot complain. P1 for 10 seconds and P0 for us. So yeah, we have a Williams sandwich. Jagu up in P1. In his Williams, 28.8, a fantastic lap by him. A strong favourite, you definitely feel, if he's got 2 tenths nearly on Matthias to Red Bull. Red Bull, who are having a fantastic season so far, of course. Castleman up in P3, Burge P4, Jacob P5, Fudge, Kimmerai, AIM, Forza and Perryland wrap up your top 10 with Penguin, Sevener, Scrub, Stozan, Pockets, Edgin and RD Gamer, who didn't set a time, unfortunately, and RD Gamer. So Williams have got an interesting race on their hands. Of course, you'd feel they're going to prioritise Jagu, but it's at the back and at the front, so we will just have to see, of course. Plays Jeopardy, a DRC Jeopardy after the race. That'll be something to definitely ask about. But Jagu, who is leading the championship, of course, and Matthias, who's P2 in that championship. So this is going to be interesting. P1 and P2 in the race, and P1 and P2 in the drivers' standing. 68, 66, and Stozan is there with 63 points, I believe, as well. So it's all close to play for. Still plenty of racing for that as well. But Red Bull are leading, 91 points in the constructors, and Ferrari with 87, Haas on 86, Williams are still there, sort of, with 77. And we are only halfway through the season. So just waiting now for drivers to just get their setups sorted, just to make sure tyre pressures are all okay, that they're happy with the fuel loads in the car. And then we will be underway under green racing conditions. Will take a minute, but a little bit rusty through qualifying. I'm not going to enjoy trying to put the VOD together. I might feel like I should, to be fair, put at least a start in it, especially if I manage to do some of the start intro. It's a famous saying by Deathlink, isn't it? It's a DRC guarantee. I don't think we've had a single race where everything's gone smoothly. That said, Tier 2 for France yesterday might have been the smoothest stream I've seen. But we are getting ready for 27 laps around Paul Ricard. Hopefully going to see an interesting difference of setups. Some drivers will prefer, of course, a low downforce setup. ERS bleed will be a factor. It's very difficult to recharge around here with a very low amount of braking zones. Can find yourself losing battery, of course, through here. We're going to check what everyone is on. So no desperate gambits from a hard compounder tyre. Jagu going on to the softs. Perryland on the softs as well. And Sevener softs as well. Artie Gamer disqualified. So he's going to be sat there very cold mediums. But all the other drivers on the medium compounder tyres. So you feel that everyone is definitely going for a one-stop soft medium or medium soft. Jagu possibly just wanting to put a marker down, drive away with it, get out of any DRS range from Matthias. His title challenger, of course, who he leads the drivers' constructors driver standings against Red Bull, who are leading. Highlighted message motives me senpai. Well, you are noticed. And something else we are definitely not going to not notice, Castleman, who's showing a fantastic bit of pace. Good performance out on Silverstone, was unfortunate taking damage. He's up in P3, you can't write him off at all, of course. But Red Bull split the difference, of course, a little bit. They are leading the constructors, but Sevener finds himself just outside the points, so we'll be wanting to see a charge from him, of course. So the predicted strategy, not even the game dares to say that there will be a two-stop. It's either soft medium or medium hard. It will be interesting to see if any of the medium runners don't fancy the soft tyres. I imagine everyone else will be looking at the soft runners and thinking, how well do those tyres perform? Because if they fall off, if it stays warm enough, you can imagine that they might tear up faster. But the track cools down, the weather cools down. If it stays overcast enough, which I think it might be, then the softs might be better towards the end of the race. As we're seeing now, drivers just form up to the grid. Edgin now coming round in his Alfa Romeo. He'll be the last to form up as he just leaves upon a little bit wide from him. Drivers struggling with track limits on the in-laps, out-laps, and even trying to form up to the grid. Penguin struggling with his mark. We're going to see now Edgin just forming up just past Artie Gamer, whose tyres are ice cold. But we are now getting ready for the start of the French Grand Prix as the lights are going red. And we are underway around Paul Ricard for round 6 of the French Grand Prix. Just waiting to see from the front. Looks like a fantastic start by Jagu. Can't expect too much on the softs. No fighting, I think, too far back. There are yellows. I don't think anything too crazy. There is a bit of contact further back as well, as Fudge is looking but can't see an angle through at all. But a great getaway by Jagu to be expected. Don't think he'll have any issues there. Drivers actually getting through fairly well. Side by side here, Sevener looking for that position to be gained, of course, and he does find it. Brilliant move by him. Overall, pretty smart start by everyone. Can't expect Jagu to drive away with this one in his Williams. Is Castleman looking it on Jagu too far back? But now drivers are going to be trying to put their foot down. Any early positions can be gained as drivers just feel out the weight of their car. And now through the science corner. Edgin's retired out already. Completely missed that. We've lost way. Hang on. Jagu's gone. Edgin's gone. Penguin's gone. Nothing crazy seemed to have happened. Where are the cars? What's happened? There's no debris. There's no collisions. No cars on stationary on circuit. There is one back there in sector 3. The lobby's completely messed up, I believe. And I think there is a message from race control for a restart. Something was bugged, something had happened, and drivers, unfortunately, just lost in the lost to the void. And that's unfortunate to see, but we are going to see a yeah, we are definitely going to be seeing don't want the music playing. We'll just go for driver interview. Driver interview stream. We need a DRC guarantee stream thing. I need to put that up in the graphics. So a false start around Paul Ricard. And we're probably going to see the lobby remade. So this could take a couple of minutes. Jagu had a fantastic start. He gets another go at it, of course. It's never nice to see a lobby restart, given that tyres, of course, being used and you get fresh sets. They can throw a mixture into the strategies. We are going to try and join on the fresh lobby. It is unfortunate that it was bugged out. But these things, of course, can happen. This is a very stable game, of course. Nothing has ever gone wrong with a Codemasters EA game, ever. So we are just waiting for the drivers to get back into the new lobby. And hopefully, it will stay clean as well. No idea what happened. It seemed to be that drivers just... yeah, they got Codemastered. Well, Codemasters. Yeah, it's an interesting name, isn't it? Yeah, Striker Boy says in the chat, it's a great race. You've really enjoyed that one. That's actually it. That's the end of round 6. Thank you for joining us. Of course, you can check out all our links in the description. Driver interviews, well, no one finished. They all left, so there's no one to interview. But we are waiting, of course, for everyone to rejoin. Yeah, play end credits. We need the was it directed by meme that they have in Game of Thrones, whatever that guy's name was. But it was a weird one. It definitely seemed like something was wrong with the lobby as soon as we saw someone jump backwards in qualifying. And even worse so when free drivers just leave existence. Okay, so I'm seeing apparently in the DRC Discord that someone had started in reverse gear. And I don't know how that's even possible, because it isn't. Like, you clutch and you're in first. The game can't put you in reverse. So, you can't put yourself physically in reverse. That's brilliant. I would love to see that. In fact, I might even go out my way to try and put that into the... Since I've got to edit... Since I have to edit this video anyway when it goes onto the VOD, because I've got to put the intro back up because it's all chopped up, it'll be horrible. I might even see if we can get that gameplay. Because that would be hilarious. That would be brilliant. I would love to see how someone reversed off the line. That could be good to put in the video. Yeah, so confirmation someone did actually manage to start in reverse gear. That is amazing. Would make for an interesting race if we made drivers have to reverse around France. I don't think anyone would actually enjoy that too much, but it is what it is. As we are just awaiting everyone to be joining up still, of course. It can take a minute for drivers, of course, to leave. Just check everything's still working and get back into the lobby. So we are going to take a couple minutes break just to see when everyone is back in. So we will be back running properly when everything is underway. And we are back, everyone, or nearly enough. I think everyone. I don't think anyone was missing. If they were, then at that point it was a them problem or skill issue, as we do call it in the biz. But we are back underway between the stream having its moments on live support and between the lobbies brilliantly hosted by the amazing Codemasters and amazing EA, of course, our glorious leader. We have a new lobby up. We have a new lobby up, of course. So we'll be on the way hopefully very soon. As drivers were just double checking their setups to make sure everything was all working, of course. It seems like some drivers with the new set of mediums and softs, new set of softs, are going to be trying it. Matthias, of course, McLarens, aim and Fawaz. What you do? Someone's already struggling. We're back on the way. We'll do a formation lap, guys. Tier 2 moment. Honestly, it's hilarious that Tier 2 has forever been functioning better than Tier 1 these days. Ever since Season 5. Well, what became of that tier, of course, in the end. Let's just get this back on the way. There we are. Right. Jagu is in P1. He qualified on pole. He's on the softs. He's P1 in the championship. Matthias is running P2. He's on the mediums. He's running P2 in the championship. This alone is in itself a good enough point of attention. The Williams and the Red Bull. Everything else, as long as you guys can all sort yourselves out, please, that'd be amazing. And then we can get underway, we can get racing. Some drivers are actually going to be struggling in terms of time constraints, but we should hopefully be all underway and under racing again. And if these drivers are struggling for time constraints, then don't cause any safety cars and you should be all okay. That McLaren pair just sat there. Ups and downs, a roller coaster of a season for McLaren, even in Tier 2, who are leading the constructors, of course. A Williams sandwich on this grid. RD Gamer at the back and Jagu up into P1. We're now just going to see drivers just getting the last bit of heat that they can into their tyres before forming up. RD Gamer going to his slot and sitting in nice and perfect. And we are going to see 5 red lights and we'll be underway at the Paul Ricard, the French Grand Prix for DRC round 6, and we are underway. Jagu with an immense start up ahead. Some moves up here. Jacobs trying to get through around the outside. Can he find a move? Castleman's trying to get through as well into turn 1. Can't find the gap at all. Jagu's flown right through. Birds side by side with Jacob. Jacob, who did a fantastic start in that Aston Martin, has climbed right up but just can't find that move through there at all. Periland as well has gained a few positions for himself. Brilliant start by Aston Martin, you can say. Jacob holding on and Perryland flying through as well. Further back, I think, what, Sevener? No, it was a little bit further back than that. Moves side by side. McLaren's trying to sort themselves out with Stozan with that Ferrari into the chicane. Burge just trying to fend off from Castleman. And we're going to see, in fact, what Castleman, it was Matthias, who's actually fallen back right down the order. Matthias on the mediums. And he's down into P4. Terrible start by him, unfortunately. As I see side by side here with AIM and Ardy Gamer. Ardy Gamer, brilliant start. This is no longer a Williams sandwich. Ardy Gamer is up into P12. Brilliant bit of driving by him. And Jacob is just looking at the back of Matthias. Matthias, who is absolutely struggling right now in that Red Bull, is just letting that Aston Martin get right up to his gearbox. You can feel that he's just waiting for this move, especially if he knows that that Red Bull's ailing. It's only going to hold him up longer, but he gets a good enough exit, and he's going to be holding on to that position for now, of course. Penguin through as well, so he's gained a position. So far, a mixture of results for AlphaTauri. I don't think Edgin... Yeah, Edgin's no longer here, so it's just Castleman. Edgin's up in 14th, so he's gained a couple positions. Well, Castleman has completely dropped back from Jagu. Jagu on the softs, you can definitely feel, of course, he's just going to stretch his legs and get a bigger gap as he goes through there. But Jacob's just still staring at the back of that Red Bull, unable to find the gap, unable to find a way through. I think further back, we've got a good run here by Ardy Gamer, who's looking to gain more moves. Is he going to do it down the inside, and Stozan decides better of it and tucks in behind. No move there that he can find, unfortunately. Perryland is having a good race as well. A race winner in Tier 2. He's trying to climb through the order. Has found a few positions. Is staring at the back of Fudge. And he's getting ever closer and closer to that Alpine as he's drifting wider, dipping the wheel into the blue tarmac. Of course, lots of grip you can lose by dipping your wheel into there. And see a little bit of a train forming here now. Burge holding drivers up a little bit. Can anyone dare make a move round there? No, they can't. Everyone just forming into position, set themselves up for point. Just to get going, fix it. And there's been a bit of contact. Seven has completely spun Kimarai round. That's giving him the position. He's going to have to give that position up. If he's decided to stick with it, I didn't quite see clearly what happened, but looked like Sevener had made contact with someone. Someone had made contact with someone either way. If you haven't given that position back, you can definitely expect that will be a time penalty. But up at the front, Castleman dropping back 1.5 seconds behind Jagu, who's really now checking out of this race. But those softs will begin to wear. Burge just trying to hold on to that AlphaTauri. See if he can stay within 1 second. Of course, when DRS gets active, those softs need to make sure they are being used correctly. That he's really laying down the marker. Because if he can't get within DRS range when those tyres begin to wear out, then they are definitely not going to offer much. Kimarai, again, side by side with Penguin. I think Penguin's lost out completely, and he's been punted off track. That's unfortunate. He's going to now find himself right down the order. There just wasn't enough room through there. Kimarai is now through to 9th place. Very unfortunate to see with Penguin now all the way down the order. But there's still plenty of racing left, still plenty of laps. He can still climb up if there's a safety car, or if his strategy comes okay, he can still get some points, but that's never nice to be dumped right down to the back of the grid. Someone, of course, as well, who's got to make a bit of a recovery is Matthias, who's currently P2 in the championship. His rival checking out in P1. See Kimarai struggling further back there as well. Haas will just be holding on to it for now. DRS is now active, of course, as well. Stozan is ever closer. Did allow that Ferrari to close up to that Haas. Be feeling he might be vulnerable if he's struggling. Will that Ferrari be making a move at all? He's thinking about it in Sector 1. Can't quite find it there, unfortunately, at the moment. Maybe if he can get a good enough exit through here into the Mistral Straight. Can he do anything? Will he get enough traction? Looks like a little bit of wheel spin from the Haas. He really is struggling on grip. Down the inside, into the chicane. into Montreal. He's actually going to clear him completely, and that Ferrari is through. Nothing that Kimirai could do. No answer. Oh, and there's a mistake there by Stosan. That's allowed Kimirai to come right back at him. There's a battle for P10 already in this race. Every point matters, of course, but they're going to go side by side through signs, and there we go. Ferrari just holding on to it around the outside. And they're still there side by side. And that has just trying to squeeze the Ferrari out. Can't quite find the move. And down the inside, holds on to the position and parks on the apex. Very unfortunate by Kimirai. That's allowed Edgin to climb up, who's gained quite a few positions as well. But further front, Matthias is closing into the other Ferrari of Burge. You feel if he's got a good enough run, he does. Burge is ailing, his battery blinking as well, being below 10%, and that Red Bull is back up and through. Must those tyres now be in a better range for him to be gaining more pace? We shall see. But he's definitely feeling hard done by, definitely having been in P2 earlier in the running, in the order, of course. Very difficult with these grips. Very difficult if you don't have the rear wing as well. Just to maintain the grip, especially through this long right-hander, long left-hander into the DRS straight. Speaking of the other Red Bull, Sebner is now looking at the back of Perryland. Not much he can do to defend against this, but he's going to try. Can he stick it around there long enough into Montreal? He cannot. He'll have to settle in behind for now, unfortunately. Jacob looking for a move as well on Burge. Burge, who really is struggling on these tyres. Nothing much he can do currently. Nothing much he can do to defend this one. And he will have to now settle down for P5. He's trying it around the outside. But there's no way through there, unfortunately. And there's been a bit of contact further back. I think Kimirai's out the race. I can't see a car anywhere on track. Kimirai, he's gone right off down there. Missing a wheel, and that might cause a safety car. 5-second time penalty for Jagu, who's going track limits exceeded. And he's not in the pit lane. That's not Jagu. Jagu is in the pit lane, so Jagu's struggling into the pit lane. He's got a 5-second time penalty. Jagu, who went in. Quite a lot of drivers are coming in. The Red Bulls are double stacking, I believe. Yeah, Red Bull decided to double stack as well. So Matthias is away, leaving Sebner to get some repairs done. I think back there, I think Sebner might have been involved. Not entirely sure. But that's really not a good result for Jagu, who's now picked up a time penalty. And he did actually get to serve it. So he did drop further back. It was only a VSC in the end. But he has served his pit stop, of course. So Kasserman is your new race leader. We are underway. We are under green conditions again. Edgin coming through the order. We'll see if he can get anything done. Unfortunately, Perrin losing out there to Edgin, who's flying through. Brilliant race so far. 11 positions gained by him. Order completely jumbled up. Didn't see what happened, unfortunately, to Kimirai. It's never nice to see anyone lose out and end up out of the race. But that is, unfortunately, where we are with this one. Pockets having Penguin on him soon. Good to see Penguin's climbed back up. But someone who is still where they are, P3, is Burge. ERS would have had a chance to recharge under the VSC. Softs might eventually drop off. But so far, driving a very good race, looking at the back of Jacob, of course. DRS enabled as well. So we are going to see if that Ferrari has the speed to close up into turn 1. Into 3, he can't find it. Can't look for the move just yet as well. But Fudge will be involved here as well. And there is a move further back as Scrub just gets past RD Gamer, who has found himself in a good position as well, up 9 positions. Good result so far for him. See now if Burge, now his car's had a chance to settle. Can he find anything here? Closing up DRS open on this Ferrari, but he might be too far back. Is he? Tucks in behind. No move he can make just yet, unfortunately for him. Seeing a bit of trains here forming. This VSC is completely jumbled up the order. Free wide here by Pockets, by Matthias, by Penguin. Into Montreal. They've sorted themselves out eventually. Penguin does hold on to position, but Matthias is through. Drivers, of course, did take some pit stops, so the order completely a mess at the moment. We'll completely just check as well. So Matthias did stop, of course, Jagu as well, who served 5 seconds longer in that pit stop than he would have wanted to. Sevener as well, and Stozan, who have all stopped. So the rest of the drivers up ahead, they will need to stop again, of course. But the rest of the drivers, you'll feel definitely on the hards, on the mediums. Jagu going to the end on mediums, interestingly enough. Unless he feels there will be another safety car. But Burge unable to find his way past Jagu for the time being. And he'll have to settle in behind there as well. Matthias climbing through the order on those mediums. Good effort by him as well. Just got to check again for my sanity. So Matthias could technically be in a net race lead of this race. As I see in the Red Bull now, just coming through here. It's fresh from mediums, really allowing him to throw everything through there. Of course, Burge still unable to find it on Jacob. So the order is going to probably be settling in, but the tyres are going to eventually differentiate and sort themselves out. The softs probably got a little bit of a breather from that VSC, so Burge will be allowed to stay up here as well. But Castleman really checking out of this race in this AlphaTauri. Really flying through now. Pocket's getting a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Not quite sure where that would have been done. Probably battling through there. It's unfortunate to see. But Jacob still having Burge for company. Burge doesn't have to fight too much, of course. If he can just get towed along by this set of mediums, then he will be laughing. So it's a bit of a 1-2 set of trains. Yeah, 2 sets of trains here forming. Jacob, of course, in that Aston Martin with the Ferrari behind, and Perryland with Scrub and RD Gamer on his tail as well. And Scrub, who's probably going to be looking for a move if he can find it, just can't get a gap there at all. Rear wing, I'm sure, was open. Probably just a graphical issue there. Jagu too far back on Penguin. These guys on new tyres definitely want to be getting a move on, especially if they are behind anyone. It's probably where at this point we now want to just check. So yeah, Jagu is behind Penguin on old tyres, so that's definitely not going to be helping him at all. If Jagu wants to try and improve his race, he's really going to want to find a way past Penguin in that AlphaTauri. Can the Williams get a move done here at all? DRS wide open on the Williams. Goes down to the inside into the Montreal chicane. Can he clear that AlphaTauri? And he can. And further ahead as well, Fudge dispatching Burge. So those softs now probably struggling a little bit there. Alpine so far having a decent enough race so far. Their home Grand Prix. Now that Fudge is past Burge, we'll see if he can have a go at Jacob at all. If that Alpine has the pace to get through. 1.9 seconds, 1.8 now to Castleman. So the gap is staying the same. Can't get a good enough exit down the pit straight, I don't think. But the Ferrari does have plenty of pace as well to keep Fudge honest. He's having a look, but just can't get the exit that he needs. Scrub as well, looking in his rear view mirrors as well. Perryland, who does have a race win around here for Tier 2, struggling now in Tier 1. Track limits as well, struggling there. 1.7 now. Jacob closing in on Castleman. Castleman might have just stretched his tyres, well, burned up his tyres too much trying to get the gap. But we'll keep keeping an eye on that, of course, as Burge, I think, just closing in, but just not closing in enough on Fudge. The DRS proving amazing for keeping these drivers in place. If you want to get a move done, you feel it will need to be done down any of the straights. Matthias clearing through the McLaren pair as well. He's up into P9. So a great potential race for Mafius. It's a long stint on these mediums, but we could be looking at a potential recovery drive from him to get the race win for Jagu, who unfortunately threw it away with a 5-second time penalty. Not sure what happened when he entered the pits. Unfortunately, it could have been an issue with track limits or cutting the white lines. We will have to see. But further ahead, Edgin dispatching Burge, who really is struggling now on those softs. Might be time to get rid of him, get onto the hards. But Edgin is now looking at the back of Fudge. Edgin as well, who's having a brilliant drive right from the back of the field. It's climbed right up the order. You can just see that Alpine closing in each time that rear wing is opened up. But Jacob just able to keep it at bay long enough. And speaking of keeping someone at bay, Mafius, who has now found a way past Perryland, is up into 8th, climbing ever slowly through the field. That Red Bull now looking at the back of RD Gamer in the Williams. RD Gamer, who's dropped out of DRS range as well to the next car, Scrub, who is really trying to put the gap, trying to keep himself in that position. Now through here, let's see what end of Sector 1. If Mafius can do anything through here, if he can continue his charge up the order. Fudge as well getting ahead of Jacob in the DRS straight. But Mafius now into the Montreal chicane. He's got the move done. RD Gamer draining his battery, trying to just desperately hold on, but there's nothing he can do. These fresh tyres on Mafius proving too much for anyone to handle currently at the moment. And he is up to 7th. A brilliant charge by him up through the field. Jacob not wanting to let this go too easy either. Edgin hot on his tail. He'll want to get the move done past Fudge as well. Depends how these drivers fight each other. If they leapfrog each other, they're going to close right up to Castleman. But if they squabble too much, they're only going to lose time. Out of Pont, let's see what exit Jacob can get at all. Burr's deciding that those softs are done, and don't blame him. They've done way too many laps. 12 laps on those, of course. He's only going to be losing more time since he didn't box under VSC, which would have been the wise decision. But Jacob just can't get through Fudge at the moment and will have to settle for that position. Mafius did get past RD Gamer, of course, is now wanting to close up to Scrub. He won't be able to get into DRH range just yet. Jagu, who's now trying to recover his own race on these mediums to go to the end. It's going to be a stretch for him and a stretch for Mafius, but he is up into 6th with the McLaren of Farwise ahead to navigate as well, as Jacob dispatches Fudge, and Edgin might even be having a go himself side by side into Montreal chicane. He does it, and Edgin is through to 3rd. These drivers, though, will have to stop again. Fudge trying to come back across with a switchback. Can't do it. Tucks in behind. And we are going to see now if Jacob and Edgin can close down on Castleman. Fudge, of course, is there on merit. Plenty of pace from himself. Edgin side by side a little bit through here with Jacob. Can't quite find the gap. Can't find a way through. But it's only allowing Castleman to stretch his legs further ahead. Further ahead as well, Jagu trying to get past and navigate these. Don't know if RD Gamer was holding Fawaz up and playing the team game, but brilliantly done there by Jagu, as you definitely feel he's dispatched him there. Edgin looking down the outside on the pit straight, and he is through as well. Perryland picking up a time penalty into the pit straight. A little bit of a lockup there by Jacob, but Edgin is now through to 2nd place. Drivers struggling with the pit entry. It's completely hard to see the white lines. Next person. Oh, it's Foxy, and Fawaz losing out completely sideways and into the barrier. Fawaz just completely side by side losing it, damaging his car, and that's unfortunate to see. These drivers up in front though, they're ahead of the safety car. The safety car didn't come out in time. Castleman, 2-second lead. That'll be cut down, but he can box everyone in front of Mafius, everyone in front of Jagu. The safety car coming out at the perfect time for these drivers. And Edgin, who started this race all the way at the back, now finds himself in a position that he can be challenging for the win. Right from the back of the grid. A brilliant drive by him so far. Of course, So we'll check to see what tyres people go onto. Although these guys will have to go onto the hard compound, you definitely feel maybe... Will anyone dare take the mediums? Sorry, the softs. They will have a fresh set of softs. 14 laps on the softs is not impossible, considering 3 of those will be done under safety car. And you can see the sun just reflecting on those lines. Difficult to spot. That's possibly where that went wrong. Castleman comes in. Edgin comes in. Jacob as well. No one daring to go side by side. You can't really do it. You can't overtake into the French pit lane. Smart by Scrub as well. Just slotting in behind. So Castleman opting for the softs. Edgin opting for the softs as well. Everyone's going for the softs. Fudge deciding that they can't do that, unfortunately. Maybe down to experience of tyre wear. Jacob as well opting for the hards. But what a race we have on our hands. Edgin and Castleman on the soft, sprinting to the finish. Raid showing his bias in the chat as well. Boys in green. Perryland's at the back, unfortunately. Jacob is up into P4, so he's got a good race for himself. As drivers now forming up behind the safety car. 13 laps left in this race around Paul Ricard for round 6 of DRC Tier 1. Of course, sponsored by Aztec and powered by Milestone. Again, links in the description if you want to get yourself any good gear as well. Or check out Milestone services as well. They help us out tremendously. And as well, you guys can find some good benefits there from them. But a good race so far. It's been ups and downs technically and ups and downs on the racetrack. As we're seeing everyone forming into order, a mixture of tyres. You definitely feel the hards are at a disadvantage, that they won't be able to go... Well, they'll definitely go to the end, but they won't have the pace that they need to be able to hold on to their positions. Jagu in P7, you definitely feel, despite qualifying really well on pole and leading the race, unfortunately, he has got to get through these hard runners. He'll have to do it as fast as he can, of course, and hopefully feel that Edgin and Castleman, either through battling or through the softs wearing out fast, that he can recover this. But Matthias, who qualified P2, is ahead of him, and he definitely will want to stretch as much as he can and get a good result. Red Bull, who are leading the constructors currently, of course. So far, good enough race for them. Matthias in P6 and Sevener P10. It's only Ferrari in P2, unfortunately just outside of the points currently at the moment. We are going to likely see one more lap of racing as Pockets is coming late into the pits. He had a set of softs on. I'm not sure what Pockets is coming in to do here. Deciding that those softs can't go to the end, and he's throwing on the mediums but giving up track position. I don't think that was the right idea. Perryland deciding the same. I definitely don't think that's the right idea. The softs, they will wear. They will definitely wear. But you've given up a load of track position. You've given up points. But these softs are definitely going to have a big enough gap. The car is light enough that I feel that at this point, it's a sprint race, and these softs will go to the end. It'll just be about a matter of tyre management, really, at that point. "12 laps left around Paul Ricard. Plenty of racing for the softs. Castleman and Edgin, they will definitely be going at it. So it'll all be a matter of when Castleman goes. You don't think these hards are going to challenge them at all. And considering how many hard runners there are, Matthias, Scrub, Jacob and Fudge, Jagu won't get through them at all. Not for a good few laps. Not for several laps, surely. It's a 2-horse race now. It's a 2-car sprint. It's a 2-car shootout right to the end, as a safety car is now going to be coming in. And we are going to see green track conditions, green flags, and racing again. Edging, eyeing up the back of the AlphaTauri, eyeing up the back of Castleman. When will he go? Of course, they're just going to back up the pack. Enough for the safety car to come in. You can't overtake the safety car. Of course, you've got to wait for it to be into the pit lane and remove itself from the track before you go. Castleman just taking his time. Of course, Imagine drivers just trying to keep as much heat with brake dragging as they can as they're coming through the final set of corners, through Lack, through Pont. When will Castleman go? I think he already has gone. He has gone. Edging, staying close with him. Drivers now falling through to the timing line. And Castleman deciding not to take any chances, not risk anything. And he has gone underway straight away. And Scrub side by side already with Matthias. Matthias deciding to back out of that one. Wise probably from him, considering the tyres probably weren't warmed up as enough as they could. Edging just trying to close the gap. Can't quite manage it at the moment. We'll see DRS for not a couple of number laps, of course. The drivers are close together. Scrub looking at this as well. Matthias too far back, but Scrub gets a good enough restart. Is probably having a chance on this as well. But Edging did fantastic exit indeed. Is through side by side through Montreal chicane, and he is going to stay ahead. Can he? No, he's going to be side by side, but just enough to get ahead. And this has held him up. The hard runner Fudge has stayed right with him, seeing time penalties now as well. But Castleman losing out, but edging through, and now your race leader. 11 laps left here around Paul Ricard. Fudge, fantastic getaway as well. Those hards on fire under that Alpine. Somehow staying with the soft runners of Castleman and Edging. He'll be begging these drivers to fight more. He'll be begging that if you two can just squabble and burn up your tyres, I've got a race win on my hands here. That'll be a brilliant home result for Alpine. Of course, Jagu, who did qualify on pole further back, 2 tenths back from Scrub. Will he look for the move? He's got to surely think of something. He's got to do something. Hasn't got the... I don't know if he didn't get the traction out of Pont, but he doesn't have the slipstream, doesn't have the straight line speed, and he can't get through there at all at the moment. Matthias, though, was dispatched by Jagu, so as far as Jagu's concerned, in terms of Matthias, order is restored. And it's all about just climbing through the field now for that Williams. But before he can even think about the rest of the field, he's got a Mercedes, time penalty Mercedes as well, of Scrub to just navigate and get through. Slipstream going to be very powerful here. No DRS just yet. Down the inside, using some battery to try and get this move done. And he does, round the inside of the chicane. And he is going to be up into 5th. Good recovery so far by that Williams of Jagu, who won last time out in Silverstone. Is now on the charge up through the field. Castleman as well on a charge, trying to think dirty air. How much of a problem will that be for his tyres? Will he want to just get the moves done on edging, or will he just want to settle in behind? Going to depend how that car feels for him. Jagu as well, really climbing up the order on those mediums. He needs to use those tyres while they're softer, while they are the better compound. He needs to find a way past that Aston Martin, clipping the curve through Pont, right to the curve. Trying to get the exit, can't quite find it at the moment, and he's going to have to settle for that position. Might have to do a bit of defending from Scrub, who does have a look, but just too far back to actually make that move. 7er up into 8th as well. So, oh my God, he's made contact as well! Avoids the barrier, but not enough room, I think, for 3 wide through there. And the Red Bull's going to have to safely rejoin. 7er dropping right out of the points. Aim into 8th. RD Gamer having to fend off from this as well. And that McLaren is through. No idea what happened there. Cars, I just think there wasn't enough room for them all to fit into that one gap. But of course, Jacob and Scrub were just too far ahead. Jagu and Jacob too far ahead to worry about that as Jagu climbs up the order now into 4th, charging through the field still again and looking to reclaim what rightfully was his first place, of course, pole position. Those softs are going to be stretching their gap ever more as much as they can. Edgy not defending at the moment from Castleman, but those softs are going to drop off either way. They won't be able to keep their much pace as they've got towards the end there. But Jagu, brilliant drive so far in the Williams. Good enough recovery drive, serving a 5-second time penalty in the pit lane. So he's got a lot to do in that Williams, but he's gone the right on the back of Fudge's gearbox. Out of pont again. What can he do? Can he get the traction down? Oh, he's right on the back of that Alpine. Nowhere to defend from him. Trying to squeeze into the wall, but nothing you can do. No answer to the drag reduction system, and then a battery that can be deployed there. And Jagu is up to P3 now. 2.5 seconds back for the Williams as his charge through the field is over, and the chase is now on to catch Castleman and to catch Edgin. Not too far back, you can see him further back there. He's got to lay down the gauntlet and really close up this gap. Not long left though, only about 7 laps left in this race. If he can close up the gap and get into DRS, if those tyres don't burn out soon for them. Penguin looking at the back of this McLaren on aim, see if he can get the move done there at all. But Jacob side by side with Fudge. Fudge's not going to lose out again. Surely Jacob making contact with the Alpine, trying to get the switchback, kept it all together, held onto it beautifully. Scrub couldn't find a way through either, but Jacob now through on Fudge. Brilliant move by that Aston Martin, nearly overcooking it. Bit too much excitement from him. But he is through nonetheless, up into 4th place. Scrub now having a look, but can't quite find the move there, unfortunately, either. 2.9 for Jagu. He is dropping back a little bit, but he's just got to settle into a rhythm. He doesn't have anyone behind him to pressure him at the moment, so you definitely don't feel he's going to worry. Matthias, who qualified P2, these hards does not allow him any pace at all. Unfortunately, he's held position in 7th, can't quite climb up the order at all, but Scrub getting frustrated, trying to find any gains. He's been overtaken twice now by drivers. Looking at Fudge, who's also got DRS, who is actually a blinking light on that Alpine. Down the inside goes Scrub, side by side, through turn 1. Can he find a way through? He can, pushing track limits as much as he dares, but he is up and through. Matthias as well is through, and he's flown right through 2 cars. Matthias getting frustrated himself that he didn't gain any places, any momentum at all, and that Red Bull has flown right past Scrub and past Fudge, but he won't have DRS down this straight, and Scrub, you definitely feel now will take this position back off of him. He tucks down to the inside here and flies right through, but Matthias clears Fudge either way from that double overtake, so he will now just settle in position. Fudge, who had to burn a lot of battery as well just to get that move done. Jacob as well, decent position P4. Should actually check time penalties for the time being. So 3 seconds for Jacob. Scrub as well on a 3-second time penalty. Pockets unfortunately not having too much of a good race in the other Mercedes. Down in P15 and with a 6-second time penalty. Scrub barely holding on to DRS range here, trying to chase down that Aston Martin in Jacob. Cutting as much as he dares, coming right to the curb. Track limits not even touched though, so he's fine there. And no DRS gained by that Mercedes, so Jacob will definitely feel happy about that. 2.2 for Jagu. 6 laps left though. Lots of racing, of course, for him. Those softs ahead on Castleman, on Edgin. They were the right tyre to take for the end of the race. He is going to be closing slowly on Castleman, but someone who I definitely feel isn't going to get closed up on, Edgin, who is checking out of this race. No issue at all from him. And he's got 1.3 second gap, can look after his car easily. Matthias got back ahead of Scrub, but Scrub is going to be looking it down into the Mistral Straight. What can he do? Sitting right on that gearbox of the Red Bull. Mercedes and Red Bull back at it again. Nice to see, especially everything considering the rivalry between those two constructors in real life. And it's always good to see some nice bit of racing as well on track between the drivers. To aim, 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. 10 seconds? He must have gone right on at the chicane. And for someone who's fighting for points, that is incredible and unfortunate. but McLaren will have to just settle for that for now. No point thinking about what is and could have been. Maybe there's a bit of contact that forced him to be cutting corners there. We don't know. Or maybe being forced out wide. Maybe he can get it removed. But for the time being, Matthias trying to see if he can just get past Scrub and hold that position. Fudge, of course, might be settled down now as well. He's looking to try and gain some places. But Scrub and Jacob do have time penalties, of course. Track limits not something you can usually get removed unless you're forced off track or battling, a bit too much battling, of course, as we've seen having lost Fawaz and Kimirai, unfortunately, 2 drivers who have DNF'd. 5 laps left, of course, here. Jacob 1.7 seconds back behind Castleman. He'll really want to be putting in the stint, trying to charge up the field to see if he can get P2 at least. That'll be a good enough recovery drive, you feel, for him. But someone who is definitely trying to recover here, Matthias, just wanting to hold position, can't ever hold on to it. Has managed to got through, has got through on Scrub now here again. So he doesn't want to have to feel that he doesn't want to lose time here, but he is doing so. Jacob is getting ever further away every time. Can't quite get into DRS range, and to hold on to it by Jacob. If he can just get there, he won't have to keep defending himself from Scrub. 9/10 back in this Red Bull. 1 second. It's always just teetering on that gap. He just needs to get DRS off the car in front, and then Scrub won't be a problem. 7-0, unfortunately, picking up a time penalty. That's not nice to see, but track limits further back down the order. It's just a struggling condition there, unfortunately. No DRS for Mafia. Scrub will be allowed to come at him, so we'll see. He might be too far back, though, to make the move into Veray. Can't find the gap. Someone who has got a bit of defending to do, though, as well. Penguin. But Stosan charges down, Burge charges down the inside in that Ferrari. P2 in the Constructors, they've climbed right up the order, and Castleman picks up a time penalty for track limits. That's unfortunate to see by Castleman, and that's dropped him out of P2. Jaku, who has been charging through the field, who has been catching right up to that AlphaTauri, now has P2 all but confirmed, but he'll want to keep the pressure up there, of course. Stosan eyeing up the back of this train here, starting with Fudge, but Burge now the conductor of his own one with Penguin behind, and Penguin side by side, and Penguin flying through. Penguins don't fly, but this one certainly does in the AlphaTauri, who charges through, of course, in this Montreal chicane. Matthias again has closed up to Jacob, now half a second back, draining that battery to really charge up the order, and he is now finally on the back of that Aston Martin. Scrub hopefully won't be a problem, but Scrub forever on the gearbox of that Mercedes, just eyeing up the move, trying to see if he can gain anything here in this race for him. Matthias really using his battery. Scrub with some left to try and get overtakes done for himself. Out of Pont, what exit can this Mercedes get? Bit too aggressive on throttle, losing out a little bit there, but the Mercedes I don't think will have the run down the pit straight. He is gaining closer and closer, but can't get the move done into turn 1. And he'll have to settle for P6 currently there as well. Matthias, who was P5, Burge getting a time penalty now. Now the tyre wear is kicking in, these drivers really beginning to struggle, which is unfortunate. Time penalties, 3 seconds, 10 seconds, 3 seconds, 6 seconds, all across the board, a variety in penalties, which will change the order, of course, when we get to the end. Change in order, of course, here will be Scrub looking at on Matthias. No room there at the moment to just squeeze through the chicane. We'll just have to settle for 6th for now. Matthias just staying within DRS range of Jacob still. That's a good enough drive by him. Only a few laps left in this race. Plenty of battling for whatever points remain. Matthias, though, climbing right up on to Jacob. Jacob, who's had a time penalty all this time. Matthias probably just getting frustrated. And we've lost out, of course. Stosan struggling, maybe spinning off track. Just enough to let Burge through. Safely enough rejoining, I think. Didn't hold Burge up at all. But got back on track all okay. Matthias now 6 temps back. couldn't quite hold on to it behind Jacob, so no move can be done there. He will have to think about Scrub attacking him for another lap more. 2/10 back, gaining ever closer, just eyeing up turn 1. Can't quite find the move done through there. Jagu, brilliant recovery drive in his Williams. 1 second back, 1.1 seconds back. Not enough for DRS range currently on Castleman. But of course, Castleman carrying a 3-second time penalty. In fact, 9/10 back. Bit of mistake maybe from the AlphaTauri. And we're now going to ride on board with Jagu, who continues his charge. DRS wide open now on this Williams. 2 laps left. Of course, Castleman, unless he gets the time penalty removed post-race, he will be dropping down to P3, but Jagu not wanting to probably settle for that on track. He'll want to get this move done himself. Scrub still frustrated behind Mathias. Mathias, who can't even get the move done on the Aston Martin. That would be his best move, but he just can't do it. Jagu's just got enough pace. Sorry, Jacob's got enough pace to hold on to that. Aim losing out a little bit here now in 9th. I think he actually may have cleared Stozan, who's got Periland for company. Plenty of battling for the last points here for P10. Aim running in P9, 13 seconds of time penalties is frustrating to see. Periland, who was the winner last time out in Tier 2. Brilliant by Stozan, all the way around the inside. I've seen a car sideways. 7 had caught a glimpse of it. Unfortunately, losing traction, losing grip, and that's miles wide by Stozan as these drivers are still fighting and squabbling for the last bit of points that they can get. 3 wide at 1 point through there. What can they do here? What exit can they get? Is Periland going to hold on to this? You think just enough for now. Not enough kind of exit for the Ferrari to stay close enough. Penguin eyeing up this move right in the gearbox of the Ferrari. The slipstream's only going to help him. Blinking light on the Ferrari. Penguin will know that, of course, but settles into position for now. Jagu right on the back. Periland's actually lost out completely. Periland's round in Sector 1. That's unfortunate. He's dropped out of that battle. But Jagu now charging on the AlphaTauri and completing his charge through the field. P2 now in that Williams. Great recovery drive by him, of course. But we are going to talk about someone's drive. The penultimate lap of the French Grand Prix. Edging on these softs. Brilliant strategy by him. Virtually last in this race and charged right up the order. Now leading the French Grand Prix. DNF'd unfortunately around Silverstone. Crashing out into Maggots and Beckett's. What a great way to return and be leading the race. All but secured. Apart from any mistakes that could happen here. So you feel that he has got this win in the bag. But drivers, of course, still plenty that is going on back here. Mathias attacking Jacob. Scrub attacking Mathias. Fudge, unfortunately, too far back, but he's in his own little pocket of racing there. Now that Periland's dropped all the way off, Aim, I want to say he's in P9, but those 13-second time penalties is unfortunate. So he's got a race here for the last points paying position. Stozan eyeing up Penguin now on the last lap of this race. Mathias, of course, will have a bit of defending to do for himself. And we've got more cautions happening back here in Sector 1. I think 7 are retiring. That's probably understandable. The session did run late. Mathias struggling for traction. Worried here possibly about what this Mercedes can do behind him. If Scrub can get enough good enough exit, perhaps he can finish ahead on track. Doesn't have it. Mathias does have the speed though. Does have the speed. Overspeed into the chicane. Brilliant by that Red Bull. And finally does get past Jacob. And he is up into 4th place. Started in P2. Castleman's 3.9 seconds. Mathias could put up a chance to gain into 3rd place if he's got a good enough charge. But now we're going to watch as Edgin comes around Sector 3, the final lap of the French Grand Prix. A brilliant drive by Edgin, flawless you could say, climbing through the field and climbing right up into P1 for the race win here around the Paul Ricard. And we are going to see him approach the timing line and take home victory here around Paul Ricard for round 6 DRC Tier 1. Edgin P2. Castleman, 3.4 seconds now to Mathias. 3.3, not enough. Castleman will hold on to P3, but it's all still to play for back here. Penguin having to fend off from Stosan for the last points playing position here. Can he get knocked on the exit? He can't. Stosan will have to settle, unfortunately, for no points in this race. And AIM dropping right down the order for Stosan actually does get P10. I'm not entirely sure what was up with the McLaren of AIM with those points penalties. Sorry, time penalties. But a brilliant drive by Edgin. P1, Jagu recovering from his 5-second pit stop into P2. Matthias as well, P2 into P4. Some of the drivers possibly taking the wrong strategy, but a good drive from themselves overall. Edgin, just a brilliant drive, climbing right up the field and taking victory here. And driver of the day, deservedly as well. But a good result here for Alfa Romeo and for Edgin, winning the race from what looked like a completely hopeless position, being that far back in Tier 1, considering the pace that everyone has. Within several laps, have found themselves up the order, with drivers taking an early pit stop, of course, under the VSC. And that is confirmation of your provisional finishing order, pending any removal or penalties applied post-race. Edgin in P1, your race winner here tonight. Jagu P2, Castleman in P3, just holding on to it, just with the 3-second time penalty track limits. Matthias losing out down to P4, still a good recovery drive up the field. Jacob in P5, Scrub P6, Fudge 7th, Burge 8th, Penguin and Stozan wrap up your top 10 with RD Gamer, AIM, Perinan, Pockets, and Sevener, your finishers for today, with Flowers and Kimarai unfortunately losing out and DNFing for the race. It's just going to get drivers into the cool-down room for the interviews. I don't think Castleman has the time, unfortunately, for an interview, but we're going to see if we can get Jagu in, who finished P2, a brilliant drive by himself, so we'll get him in for an interview now, of course. Jagu, welcome. You're making a habit of these recovery drives. In Silverstone, you've started fairly interestingly sort of down the order, won that race on old tyres, started in P1, disaster struck, 5-second time penalty in the pit lane. You were held up, but luckily that 5 seconds got removed, of course. Talk to me about that charge back through the field. You did immense getting it into P2.
Yeah, everything lined up for me, pretty much. So it was just simple passes, to be honest. So yeah, it was a good fun.
Were you not worried at one point the hard runners were fighting quite aggressively? I think at one point you were stuck behind them for a while, but just sent your battery, just completely sent it. I can't remember if it wasn't 2 cars, but you basically got past 2 cars in a single lap, and then you were unleashed. Did you know at all that Castleman was struggling until he got the time penalty? Were you thinking just that gap's coming slowly down, or were you just settled into your own rhythm?
Yeah, I mean, I would have caught him regardless of the penalty, though, which I kind of showed. But so I wasn't really concerned, but, it could have made for a fun battle in the last 2 laps.
Yeah, I don't think he might have defended it too much, but he still gave you plenty of run for him. And of course, with that gap that came down, when you saw him drop away from Edgin, though, did you know at that point that qualified on pole and the race win was out of the question, but you can still get plenty of points there, of course, for Williams?
Yeah, it's great with a lot of points, good for the championships. But yeah, I'm never happy with anything other than first. So.
Well, you are extending your lead at the top. Matthias, of course, unfortunately, he wasn't a hard compounder tyre, so he wasn't able to get too many moves done, so you are extending your lead at the top there. Thoughts coming into the last half of the season, feeling pretty confident about the championship?
Yeah, it's every race matters more now, so just gotta keep the consistency on the podium and it'll be fine.
Speaking of which, Baku next. What are your thoughts on that track?
Oh, I love that track. It's gonna be good fun.
Oh, fantastic. Well, hopefully we'll see you there then. Thank you so much and have a fantastic evening.
Thank you.
We are now going to get your race winner here, Edgin, who had a fantastic recovery drive. Edgin, immense drive from yourself right at the back. Not always easy to do. You struggled to do it at Silverstone. In fact, DNFing at one point as well, because driving side by side with these drivers at some points of the track can prove too much. But after the VSC, some drivers cleared, especially the ones that thought boxing would be the right idea, and then you climbed right up the order, found yourself in the battle for the podium, and then found yourself battling 1 and 2 with the hards behind you. It was pretty much a shootout at the end. Talk to me about that race. What were your thoughts?
Well, I was kind of racing with very low wings, hoping that I'd be overtaking on the straights, which is exactly what happened. Just paid attention to ERS. I guess just got lucky with the safety car, got very lucky with the safety car, got very lucky with Jagu getting 5 seconds of penalty, which is actually coincidentally just enough to have forced him in the gap of he had 4 seconds at the end or something. So he may have, I would have fought him in the end if he didn't have those 5 seconds. And other than that, yeah, just trying to survive, I guess, because I've seen some shit today.
It's been a long evening. It's been a long evening.
Yeah.
So yeah, speaking of which, because Jagu, unfortunately, I'm not sure what happened there. That it would have been close. It was about 5 seconds to Castleman and Jagu in the end as well there. Were you thinking at all when you started getting right up the order, when you were battling the back of everyone before you got shot through, that were you thinking about that a race win was even possible?
I mean, I don't go on track if I don't expect a win. That's a
well, okay. From near enough last position though, that's saying something.
Yeah, but I medium soft. I had a strategy. I just said I'm just gonna lap the track and ignore everyone else and try to avoid the carnage and try to do as clean overtakes as I can. And it's basically what I did, and it worked out. And yeah,
that's a good result. It's a brilliant drive from yourself. Anything, you've seen some things then. There was a bit of conflict and carnage. Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to mention then, or?
I'll leave the talking to the stewards. It was a good race. I liked racing side by side. It was nice to actually overtake a ton of people. The issue is it's honestly terrifying because people fight for their lives, which I mean, fair enough to them. But it's lap 12 out of 27 and people are fighting for their lives already. It's a bit worrying, you know. But
no, that's fair.
Overall it's alright.
So, speaking of side-by-side battles, a track that's pretty much very difficult to even attempt it. Baku next. How are you feeling?
It's one of my favorite tracks, but we'll see because I'm having some issues with my wheel. So I need to basically get used to force feedback being a bit weird.
Yeah,
turning on and off.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's not good at all. Hopefully it's fixed, and hopefully maybe we'll see you on the podium for next week.
Yeah, I hope so. Be fighting Jagu.
Now that would be something. No, but thank you so much. Brilliant result for yourself. Congratulations on your win, and I hope you have a nice evening.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
And that concludes round 6 here for season 9 around the French Grand Prix for DRC Tier 1. Sponsored by Aztec and powered by Milestone. Their details below, of course, that you can check out there for yourself. Tier 2 on Saturdays at 6:30, Tier 1 6:30 on Sundays, of course, next week, and that'll be round 7 at Baku. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic evening.